Good day, folks, and welcome back to Ed's Garage at Bannister Hyundai. So today we are looking at the 2024 Kona Ultimate N-Line, or N-Line Ultimate, sorry. And if you haven't already seen it, check out the description below. I did a video on the regular N-Line. So if you want to see what the differences are between the N-Line Ultimate and the regular N-Line, check that video out first, then come back and watch this one. Or watch this one first, whatever. So this is top of the range for this vehicle currently in North America. Now, eventually, Hyundai will make a full-on N version and performance version of this vehicle, which of course will cost thousands more, but it'll have a lot more performance. But for now, this is the top guy here. This is the top trim. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start at the front, work our way to the back, and show you all the cool features on this vehicle. But first, I'd like to say thank you so much to Barry and Linda for loaning me this vehicle, because we haven't really had one of these to do a video on yet in the showroom. This was the only one that we got so far. So thank you, and here we go. So let's start at the front. First off, on the N-Line Ultimate, you get a forward-facing camera right here because this vehicle has the surround view camera system. So there's cameras in the mirrors, camera in the back, camera in the front, etc. So I'm going to show you how that all works later. It's really awesome. Above that, we have the LED daytime running light and light strip. This light bar actually comes on at all times. So if your headlights are off, it's just the outer sections that come on for the daytime running lights. If your headlights are on, the whole thing lights up. It looks really cool at night. Also on the Ultimate, you have the front parking sensors along the front here. So not only do you have a parking camera in the front, you've also got front sensors. You've got the cool N-Line badge right there. You've got projection high beams and projection low beams, and they are LED, of course. Really cool light signature on the front there. Check this out. We have these active air flaps. Now these will actually open up when it needs additional cooling, but when it doesn't, they stay closed, and that's for aerodynamic efficiency, to keep that air flowing past the front of the vehicle. So that's really cool. You don't see that really in any other brand yet, for this class of vehicle anyway. Right below here, we have the forward-facing radar system. That, of course, is for the autonomous braking, adaptive cruise control, that sort of thing. And then up in the windshield, you can see we've got the forward-facing camera for lane keep assist, pedestrian detection, junction detection, and whatnot. And then above that, the sensor for the automatic window wiper system. Okay, coming around the side, this one does, of course, have the N-Line wheels. So these are a 19-inch aluminum alloy wheel wrapped in the Kumo Majesty tires. It's 235, 45, 19. And of course you get the cool little N badge there. Along the side here, we've got the, there's the camera on the mirror. You've got the marker lights on the mirrors, and of course it is blind spot monitoring. Now, Hyundai has now finally updated to digital key in Canada, so you can open the door and start the car in a couple ways. You can either use your key fob, or if you have a Galaxy, Samsung, or Apple phone, you can simply just put your phone up to the car, it'll unlock the door, and then when you get in, you put it on the charge pad. With the key fob in your pocket though, you can just grab it and open it up, and you can also lock it again by pressing that little spot. There's no actual physical button there, it's just a touch sensor, and there's also a little light behind there that comes on and lights up at night, which is kind of nice. Coming around to the back, you can see we've got backup sensors, so a couple of sensors on the back of the vehicle, and then your backup camera right down here. Nice Kona badge along the back there. Nice flat Hyundai badges as well, so they've changed the look of the badges. Got the little split spoiler going here with the brake light in the middle, which looks cool, the third light. And then on the bottom of the trunk, you can see we've got the sort of the air damper system going here as well. So twin tip chrome exhaust, really fancy, sporty looking vehicle on the outside. We've also got side rails here as well, so you can get the cross rails up in the on the top there. And then a fairly large sunroof. It's not a panoramic sunroof, but it's still a big piece of glass. This, of course, does open up, and it's got a power sunshade in there, which I'll show you in a bit. But before we go inside the vehicle, I want to show you the key fob. So Hyundai's got a bit of a controversial key fob right now. It's cool in that it looks like the Hyundai logo, but it's kind of an odd shape, and it's plastic and doesn't feel very premium, unfortunately, but that's the way they decided to go. This is the physical key, so this is one you can use to actually get into the door here. So to use this physical key, basically what you do is you pop this cover off. So you pull this away, you can put a key in there, pop this cover off, and then there's a key hole underneath. But what's really cool about this key though is what you can do with it. Check this out. So obviously it's got remote start. So I'm going to go ahead and remote start the vehicle. There we go. And now we have something called Smart Park. Check this out. If I hold this button right here, there it goes. Car moves all on its own. Now, if I want, I can go backwards as well. Now, this is reserved to the Ultimate trim. The regular N line does not have that functionality. How cool is that? So that is Hyundai's Smart Park system. Now, you can see the turn signal light there, LED, looks cool. But anyway, so the way that I use that system in my personal life is when I'm needing to get the car out of the garage or back into the garage, and I'm wearing dirty clothes from working out in the yard or whatever. Let's say I need to get the car out of the garage in order to make room for the lawnmower to come in and out, and I don't want to get the car dirty. Well, I can use the Smart Park system to pull the car out of the garage, get it out of the way without going into the car. I love it for that. So that's what I use it for. I think it's a really cool system. While we're here, you can see the light bar is now turned on. It's actually quite bright. It doesn't actually flicker like that in person. That's just the camera. And then you can also see we've got the projection LED headlight coming on there as well. Really, really good looking system there. Okay, let's have a look at the trunk space. Now, this one does not, unfortunately, have the power tailgate. For whatever reason in Canada, we didn't get the power tailgate on the top trim. I believe the electric vehicle of the Kona will have the power tailgate, but I could be wrong, because I know that down in the States, you guys with the limited edition do have a power tailgate, but for whatever reason up here, we don't get that. So that's unfortunate. Anyway, tailgate's open now. Check it out. Even on a subcompact vehicle, I can stand under this. That's insane. I'm 6'2" and I still got extra room there. That opens up really, really wide. Cargo space is significantly better than last year as well. It's gone from 19 cubic feet to 26 cubic feet. Lots of space in here. That's with the seats up. Underneath the floor, there is a little bit of additional storage, as you can see. Lots of space down there. I'm sure the owners are going to love it. I've shown all their stuff. I'll have to check to see if that's okay. You have a removable cover here, so this does come out. And as a matter of fact, it can be clipped in behind these little brackets here. So if you want, you can clip this spot in down there, and then it kind of stores this out of the way. Unfortunately, it doesn't work all that well with a cargo tray, but it does work really well without the cargo tray. This one does, of course, have the premium audio systems. You can see you got a little subwoofer there, and you'll notice the seat backs are not lined up, and that's because these seats, 60/40 split, can actually recline. I'm going to show you that when we check out the back seat space. But before we do that, we're going to look under the hood. So let's pop the hood. All right, big improvement over the outgoing model. Check this out. Hood struts. Yeah, anyway, so I am very, very happy that they added hood struts on this vehicle. This is not a luxury car, guys, but, you know, it has a lot of little luxury touches that you don't generally see in this segment. That's really cool. Now, if you're comparing this to like a Toyota Corolla Cross or a Honda HR-V, it's going to sound very biased from a Hyundai salesperson, but this blows those cars away. There are other good cars in this segment. Right now, Hyundai is really, really leading the charge, though. They are making a phenomenal, phenomenal vehicle. So what we're looking at here is a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's an inline 4 that makes about 187 horsepower, if I remember the number correctly, and about 200 foot-pounds of torque. It's around there anyway, 200 and 200. Smart Stream engine, so it actually has the dual injection system. And it's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, so no dual clutch anymore. They actually got rid of the dual clutch. They put an 8-speed automatic in there. Good bulletproof torque converter transmission. Everything's relatively easily accessible here. There's lots of room around the outside of the motor, and you have easy access to things like the air filter, your fuse box. And you'll also notice that they've kind of covered up sections quite nicely with insulation here. You can see some insulation along the firewall and lots of insulation on the hood. That's very, very nice and buttoned up, very tight. So yeah, very nicely laid out engine compartment. And those hood struts make a huge difference. Every car should have that by now. Anyway, let's check out the back seat. Now, one massive improvement over the outgoing model is just how much space is in the back of this car. So front seat space, fairly similar, a little bit better than the outgoing model, but back seat space and cargo space have improved dramatically. So let's jump in the back here. Now, remember, I'm 6'2". I was not able to easily sit in the back of the outgoing model, and I can rather easily sit in the back of this one. So as you can see, I've got lots of room in front of my knees here. I've got lots of room underneath the floor to put my feet, and it's very comfortable. I mean, I've got a padded armrest in the center here, padded armrest on the door. There's a cup holders here as well, and of course this folds up out of the way, and you'll notice it doesn't flop down on the seat. It's actually secured in that position. I've got grab handles. There's a grab handle in all four corners of this vehicle. I've got LED lighting in here, as well as a nice black headliner, and the seats themselves, check this out, have a really nice Alcantara cover surrounded by leatherette. So the seats are really, really nice as well. You'll also notice a nice hard seat back on both the passenger and the driver's seat, and cargo net there on the back of the passenger seat. Down here, we've got a little bit of storage. Let's get out of the sun. There we go. We've got a little bit of storage here for a cell phone or whatnot, and then two USB-C ports. No vents back here, unfortunately, but there are vents underneath the seats. So that does get a little bit of venting underneath the seats. All right, and that's pretty much it. That's all there is to talk about back here. Oh, right, the reclining seat. So if I grab the seat handle here and then lock it in, it locks in there. As you can see, now it's lined up. Let's close this. Whoop. Lined up with the other seat. Or if I pull it, it reclines a bit. And the cover in the back is back far enough so that you can recline both seats. And now we have a nice raked seat, lots of headroom. My legs are quite straight here. They're not, coming off the seat bench very much at all. So the floor isn't, too high in relation to the seat. This is actually a very, very comfortable back seat. All right, let's check out the front seats. All right, first off, on the passenger side, this does have height adjustment. Check it out. So you can raise and lower the seat. It's all manual, but it does have height adjustment, which is nice. So it's got basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way adjustable manual seat, plus the headrest. So technically 8 ways, I guess. But yeah, that is just the passenger seat. But let's check out the driver's seat. First, though, I want to show you something really cool with the remote start. And for some reason, it seems like only Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis do this. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, leave a comment down below. But I've just gone ahead and remote started the vehicle. And now I'm going to go ahead and jump in. And what you're going to notice... the seat is way up. What you're going to notice is that when I put my foot on the brake, everything else comes on. Now, the reason that's important is because most of the time with vehicles, you have to get in and then start it again. You have to, basically, it'll stay running, but you have to press the start button again to get it to come on. So that's something I really like about Hyundai, Kia, Genesis remote start. All right, having a look at the driver's seat, of course it is power, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-way adjustable power driver's seat. So it's got the height adjustment as well as tilt in the front and then lower back support, which is nice. Check out these seats. So how cool do they look? You got the cool little racing stripes there, the N badge in the top, and that nice leatherette flanking the Alcantara. And the Alcantara badge is actually right here as well. So you can really, really show off your luxury interior on your subcompact commuter vehicle, which is awesome. This is a great little vehicle. Also, you'll notice it's got the Bose badge on the door here. So a pretty good audio system in this vehicle as well. Center channel up front, tweeters in the A-pillars, and then that subwoofer in the back, as I mentioned before. All right, so let's start from left to right and show you everything about the vehicle. We're going to start on the very, very left here. So, of course, we do have your typical mirror controls, window controls. This will actually lock out the rear windows. And then on the dashboard right down here, we've got your dimmer switch, your traction stability control, hill descent assist, which works up to about 40 kilometers an hour. Basically, as you're descending a hill, it'll hold your speed when you let go of the brake. So that's what that is. Got the power e-brake right here. So if we turn that on by simply pulling that, it'll set. And then when you put the car in drive, it'll turn itself off. Right above that is the little panel here. This panel does nothing but allow things to be stuck to it with magnets. It's just a metal panel. It's covered in cloth, but you can hang little magnets there and stuff. Right next to that, you have your turn signal stalk. It does have the one-touch turn signal, but you'll also notice when you hit the turn signal, it puts a view down the side of your vehicle on each individual side of the screen. So that's a blind view monitor. It does, of course, have automatic headlights and automatic high beams. Right in front of that, you have the paddle shifter for gearing down, and this gear up button right here. So it does have paddle shift, which is kind of nice. On the left of the steering wheel, you have all of your drive controls. So you've got your adaptive cruise control here, your lane keep assistance at any speed, and then, of course, lane keep assistance over 64 kilometers an hour. That's represented on the screen right there. So when that's green, it's able to detect the lines. If I press this button on the steering wheel, though, it adds that little steering wheel. So that'll be at any speed. In the middle of the steering wheel, you can see we've got the 4 dots, which, of course, are the letter H in Morse code, in case you're wondering what that is. On the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you can see we have all of the controls for the multimedia system. So the infotainment system is all controlled from here, or the buttons down here, or, of course, the screen. So lots of options for configuring and manipulating the screen. You get your volume rocker right here, a nice knurled finish roller, which is cool. You get up and down button here for next preset, previous preset, or next song, previous song, if you're listening to music on an iPhone or Android phone or USB stick. By the way, the volume button is also a mute, so you can press that to mute. Above here we have mode, so that switches between where music is coming from and going to. Let's go to AM, FM, Sirius XM, music playback from a phone, USB stick, etc. You got your voice recognition, so if I want to set a destination in the navigation system, for instance, or if I just want to turn on the heated steering wheel, turn on the heated steering wheel.
Turning on the heated steering wheel.
There we go. So that's the heated steering wheel button, but I can use voice recognition to do that as well. Now the heated steering wheel, by the way, is fully heated all the way around. You got beautiful perforated grips, and of course that really nice red stitching. Below the mode, or below the other buttons here, you've got a customizable button. So this one, we usually just set that to go to the home screen. So as you can see there, it's flipped over to the home screen now. And then you have your answer button here, which will also hang up phone calls as well. Behind that, you've got your window wiper stock. And of course, it is automatic wipers, as I mentioned. And anytime you change a setting here, it shows you on this screen what you've done. So your rear wiper, for instance, which is also automatic, as long as it's raining, if you put the vehicle into reverse, the rear wiper will come on automatically, but this is where you can turn it on manually. And then, of course, you push this away from you to clean the rear window, pull it towards you to clean the front window. All right, and then below that is the shifter. So many people get all huffy about the shifter. I don't know why, because honestly, after been driving a vehicle with this shifter for a while, it's actually so intuitive. It makes so much sense. It's not hard to use. You don't accidentally hit this. You know, it takes some getting used to, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different. So I mean, the thing is, if you always had one of those and then you had to get used to a shifter in a console, you would say that that was dumb. So I don't understand people complaining about those shifters. It makes no sense to me. It's just all in what you're used to. And quite frankly, this works just fine. And the cool thing is when if you forget to put it into drive, let's say you're at park, you come to a stop, you flip the door open, take your seatbelt off, it puts it into park for you. You don't even have to think about it. And yeah, I know that there's some other electronic shifters that do that as well, but you know, that's the advantage of electronic shifters, and where they are really doesn't matter. You just get used to it. All right. Also tilt and telescopic steering wheel, of course, but yeah, let's move on to the center console. So we have cup holders that you can fold away. So you just kind of rotate that in just like that. And then if you want them out, press those buttons there, pops out. This little divider does come out as well, and you'd have a whole bunch of extra space in here. That'll fit like a little umbrella or whatever. You've got a center cup holder armrest, or center armrest that you can flip up. This tray actually comes out as well, and then of course all that storage underneath there. The buttons in the center console include heated seats, ventilated seats, and 3 levels of both. Check that out, so you can actually have multiple different settings there. And one thing that's really cool about the heated steering wheel is it's 2 levels. So how many car companies do you know give you 2 levels of heated steering wheel heat? That's pretty cool. You got your auto hold button here, which basically stops the car from moving when you take your foot off the brake. It's like a anti-creep mode. So that's what that is. It also holds you on a hill. So when you take your foot off the brake and then put it on the gas, it releases it and lets you go. You have different drive modes. I'll show you what that looks like on the screen here. So if I flip over to the screen, if I rotate this button, we've got normal, sport, and snow. Now this background, this screen can be set up to automatically change depending on the mode that you have it in. But right now it's just set to one individual thing. So I'll show you that a little bit later. And then there's also the lock button in the center here. The lock button is for the all-wheel drive system. So this vehicle is equipped with H-Track all-wheel drive, which is Hyundai's standard all-wheel drive system, developed and engineered by a company called Magna International, partially here in Canada. Really, really good system. It's predictive. It puts power to the front wheels and the rear wheels under any sort of acceleration. And it will remember if it detected a minor slip or whatever, it'll remember that for a while and keep all-wheel drive turned on. And in sport mode, it'll actually just go 50-50 front and rear right off the bat. So you get all that acceleration capability, all that traction. But with the lock switch, it'll do even more than that. It'll lock that center differential so that even if both of the front wheels are slipping, the power will still go to the rear wheels. So it's a really, really good system. Right next to that, we have the parking sensors button where you can turn that off, the passenger seat controls, and then this button here, which turns on the camera system. Check this out. The camera system is awesome. So first off, I know you see this and you're probably wondering what that is. We're going to talk about this. So obviously you got your top-down 360 view camera system, but what Hyundai's done really, really well, for one, they use really, really high quality cameras and screen. But check this out. You've also got the throw of the vehicle in the dynamic steering lines here. What I mean by that, if I put the car into reverse, you'll notice it's going to show the front end is going to swing out here. So not only is the back end going to go this way, but the front end is going to swing out. So if you've got something standing there or sitting there, you know, you're going to hit it if you have the steering wheel like that. So that's pretty cool. But let's switch back to the other screen here for a moment because I want to show you just while it's up. So this, oh, by the way, this you can zoom in and out of as well. So check that out. You can actually pinch and zoom a little bit on that. This right here is the 3D representation of the vehicle and its surroundings. How cool is that? So Hyundai is not the first company to do this, but they are a company that's done it better than most. So again, very, very clear image. You can even see in the screen, the little wheels are turning when I move the steering wheels. Check that out. And when you actually drive, those wheels turn as well. This isn't actually the car that we're sitting in. It's a three-dimensional representation of it. Now, instead of this, you can also put it on, you know, front camera, rear camera. You can choose what you want, but we really like that one. It's cool. Okay, going back down to here. So we have a wireless charging pad here, 15 watts of wireless charging power. And then above that, we have a USB port, a USB-C, that does one of two things. Either it just charges a battery in a phone, okay, or it charges and connects to the infotainment screen. And then, yeah, so you got another USB-C port here, and you have a 12-volt outlet here. And check this out. A lot of engineering went into this little thing, which is hilarious. So you can see just how much engineering went into that little hinge there. But hey, it works. Right above that, we have the really nice dual zone automatic climate control with 3 different levels of intensity and an automatic recirculate. So if I pull the windshield wiper washer stalk, it recirculates. If you drive through a tunnel, it recirculates. And this is also, you don't have to smell the outside air. Dual zone, of course. And on the right hand side here, you have access to a sync button, which synchronizes both temperatures. And then you can also enable and disable AC, front defrost, rear defrost from there. Pretty straightforward, but yeah, kind of a nice layout and easy to use. Very, very intuitive. Above that, of course, you have all of your controls for the stereo here. So nice hard buttons for the volume, tuning, home, map, search, media. There's your hazard key, seek and track, which is obvious. And then another customizable button here that we always set up to access Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. But in this case, because the current owner isn't using that, we set it up to just shut the screen off. So that's what that is doing now. And then above that, of course, you have your vents. Really easy to use as well. Nice red line there. I'm going to get back to that screen in a moment. Check this out. You got a cool little parcel shelf here, and that is actually underneath some of the ambient lighting, as you can see there. And that ambient lighting is customizable. You can change the color of that. So a few different places that ambient light shows up, but that's the easiest place to show you in this daylight. Very, very large, well, reasonably large storage area in the glove box there. And skipping the screen for a moment, going up to this, we do have a automatically rear dimming rear view mirror and home link buttons for garage doors and gates on the bottom there. Above that is the controls for the sunroof, as well as the buttons for calling for roadside assistance and emergency assistance. That's part of BlueLink, which I'll mention in a moment. We have your light controls, individual map lights, and then, as I mentioned before, it has the powered sunshade, which you can stop anywhere along the way. And then, of course, the sunroof as well. And the sunroof actually opens up reasonably wide. It's a fairly decent sized sunroof. So this distance is decent, but the overall width of the sunroof is a little bit larger than what is typical. So pretty good sized sunroof. And then as far as the sun visors, they both have mirrors, they both have lights, LED, and they both actually slide out as well. All right, so what is BlueLink? Well, BlueLink allows you to remotely start the car, unlock the doors, lock the doors, find the car on a map, all from your cell phone. And where it really exceeds over the competition is that A, it's free for 3 years, but B, it has cool little options. Like when you remote start the car, you can have it remote start the car with the heated steering wheel on, or with the heated seats on, or with the front defrost or rear defrost turned on. You can have it run for a certain period of time. You can choose whether you want preset for winter, or preset for summer, or preset for fall. You can adapt all those different things. So it's really, it's much more than a remote start. It's a remote start and configuration instantly of what you want to come on. You can change the temperature. So in the summer, for instance, you can have a summer preset for 19 degrees, what is that, like 65 degrees or whatever, Fahrenheit, and you can have it run for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever, with the ventilated seat turned on. It's going to depend on the vehicle. So some vehicles may or may not have the seat features, but pretty much all of them have the heated steering wheel. So in the winter, you can set it up to turn on with the front rear defrost, mirror defrost, heated steering wheel, and the cabin nice warm, 22, 23 degrees, 74 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever. So you can customize how it runs and how it starts and how long it runs for. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about the screens here. So first off, you got this big, beautiful 12-inch infotainment screen, or instrument cluster screen, which is somewhat customizable. As a matter of fact, there is some buttons down here that you can use to change what's in the middle of the screen. So I'm going to run through those real quick now. So this one here will slide along the bottom here. You can see there's 3 different lines. And that will allow you to go to different menus. And then there's also individual screens within these screens. So this one here, the far left one, has 5 other little things I can look at. And I'm going to use the scroll wheel to look at those. On the left-hand side, of course, you have your speedometer digitally and your tachometer on the right. You can set this up in an analog format as well, which is in the settings in here, but we're going to ignore that for now. You got your fuel fuel range here, and then on the right hand side you got your engine temperature. Bottom right is where your odometer is. All right, so this is where the video is going to get a little bit long. All right, so we're going to talk about the screen now. There is a lot to talk about here, of course. So we're going to start with the navigation, and then I'll show you the rest. I'm going to cheat a little bit though. I'm going to cut out a section of my last video on the regular inline because everything else aside from the navigation is basically identical. So that'll be after the navigation bit. You'll see things are going to change a bit, but it's the same. All right. So let's start with the navigation. So from the home screen, there's 2 ways to get to navigation. I can either tap the map here, or I can just hit the map button. And that'll take us to the map. And you'll notice there's a little mini screen on the right-hand side here. If we don't want that, we can just shove that off the screen. If we want it, we can just pull it back just like that. And there's multiple different things that we can see in here, which is kind of nice, even the forecast. But as far as the navigation goes, there's a couple different things you can do right on the screen. Obviously, you can search for an address there. You can change the orientation, so you can kind of have it in perspective mode or just, north up or whatever. Change the navigation volume level, change the scale, that's just zooming in and out. So the way that I would recommend you use the navigation system is with voice recognition, because you can just say find the nearest Walmart or find an address in British Columbia or whatever. But that's how I would normally do it. In this case, we're going to skip over that. I'm going to show you real quick how to do it with the search button here. So if I tap the search icon and then type in Walmart as an example, Walmart, okay. So it's going to come up with different options. Give it a second here. There we go. All right, so basically it starts with the closest Walmart. So I can tap one of these here, and then I can set that as the destination. Really, really simple. Now, obviously, in that search bar, we can also type in the whole address if you want. If you don't know the whole address, you can also just put the names of the streets near it. But once you've searched, you'll notice it has a fastest and a most economical. It leaves that option up on the screen for you. If you don't tap it, then it just chooses the fast one and starts to go. Now, what's cool about this, though, is that not only can we have the turn-by-turn directions up on the screen here, we can also put them in the center screen as well. So if I use the top button here and jump over, you can see now I've got my turn-by-turn directions. And it also has the time or the distance to the destination as well. If I press this one last time, by the way, it just takes us to the drive info screen. This is great for if you're using adaptive cruise control, because it'll show you the cars and whatnot there. So yeah, pretty simple. Very easy to use navigation system. I'm going to cancel that. And then if you want to go to, for instance, if I tap this little menu here, you can show traffic, you can save different things, you can go directly to navigation settings. So if you want to go to navigation settings, that's where you'll find that. And then if you want to see an online manual that talks about the map, you simply tap that button, scan the QR code, and it takes you right to the user manual and talks about specifically the map. Pretty cool. All right, so now we're going to jump over to my end-line video that I did to talk about the rest of the screen. So here's that. Now here's where everything is vastly different. There's no more home screen. So there's no more weird screen that has very little information on it that nobody seems to use. So that's kind of cool. So now what we're looking at on the home screen is a quick access to our current media playback, the phone projections, that'll be Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, valet mode, which is part of BlueLink. It allows you to basically give the vehicle some restrictions if you're handing it over to a valet. Our vehicle diagnostics, which is also part of BlueLink. And then if I swipe to the left, we have maintenance, which again, part of BlueLink, notifications, part of BlueLink. Our online manual, so if I tap that, it gives us a QR code that we can scan. And you'll notice it actually does have the split screen option here as well. And we can change things like the clock face, which is cool. If I slide up, we have our compass, which we can also change 2 different looks as well. And then at the top left-hand corner, you see the little icon here. This is not part of the online manual, but that's for the user profile. So you can actually change user profiles, which of course remember things like your stereo presets, your lighting level, your ambient light color, that sort of thing. Now, top left, we have a menu button. So if we tap that, we can go straight to profile settings or straight to the online manual. If I tap the media button here, it's going to take us into the radio. So we have AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth audio, USB music. And if I swipe over, we also have Sounds of Nature, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Let's check out the Sounds of Nature, see if there's some new ones here. So we have Lively Forest, which now has some guitar music as part of it. Cool. We have Sailing Ship. That's new. City at Dawn. So it looks like they've added music to each one. So it's not just the sounds of the nature, but sounds of nature accompanying some music. Experience the universe. Do we have music as part of the rainy day? Yes, we do. Moment of meditation. No music here yet. Well, I guess there's a little bit of music. Sounds of spring. All right, so it looks like the sounds of music now are all do include, or sounds of nature, sorry, do all include music. Not sure if I like that idea or not, because now it's no longer just sounds of nature, it's some music. And what if you don't like the music? Well, whatever. Yeah, so I'm not really sure if I'm a fan of that yet. Also, what I'm noticing is there's no ability to view the entire screen here. It looks like you kind of have to have the little sub-screen on the right-hand side. I don't see an arrow. Oh, nope, never mind. Is that it? No, that's just a change. Okay, so that's new. All right, let's go back to the home screen here. We'll turn this volume down. So phone is obvious, phone projection is obvious, valet mode, vehicle diagnostics. I can't actually show you those things unless Bluetooth is set up, or BlueLink is set up. So let's go into the setup screen here. So from the top left to the bottom right, these are all things that were in the previous generation of this software as well. However, the layout's a little bit different. There's no more icons now, they're just squares. And it's a little easier to determine which is which. So I actually really like this layout, and it's making me wish that I had it in my car. I think with an update on my Ioniq 6, it'll probably look like this as well. So let's go into vehicle settings. Yes, again, a different look. So normally they used to be kind of all on the left-hand side. Now they're kind of going across the center here. We're going to start with driver assistance. I've gotten really good at making this easy. So under driver assistance, I'm going to just tap one of these here. So we have our smart cruise control. We can change the distance there, the acceleration, how quickly it does the reacting to changes in distance between you and the car in front of you. We have driving safety, so forward autonomous emergency braking. Awesome. We can change the timing there for the warning. Lane safety, automatically assists steering to help prevent the vehicle from leaving the lane. Blind spot safety provides warning when a risk of blind spot collision is detected, and provides vehicle control when departing while departing a parallel spot. Interesting. So it'll actually stop a parallel parking collision as well. Safe exit provides a warning when approaching vehicles detected in the vehicle's blind spot. Also after parallel parking when you go to open the door. Interesting. Driver attention, we have leading vehicle departure alert. So you can't turn off the driver attention warning. That's the same as my car actually with the Ioniq 6. That's annoying. I wish you could turn that off actually. Our speed limit warning, let's see here. So sets the properties of the speed limit system. We have country selection. Interesting. I guess so that it knows what to look for signs, I guess. Speed limit assistance, speed limit warning. So provides a warning when exceeding the current road speed limit, and speed limit assistance. Adjusts the vehicle speed based on the current road speed limit when operating the plus or minus switch. And then we can turn that off as well. So we're going to leave it on speed limit warning. We can also change the offset. So if you do like to speed a little bit, it gives you the option to speed up 10 kilometers an hour over or 10 kilometers an hour under the limit. So we're going to leave that for now. And then parking safety, we have our camera settings, which we saw earlier. And then rear cross traffic safety provides warning of vehicle control when risk of rear cross traffic collision is detected while reversing. So that's kind of nice. So it has autonomous braking in reverse. Under climate, we can go to recirculate air, which again activates upon fluid use, washer fluid use. That's cool. We have automatic ventilation, defrost, defog, and then automatic AC drying. That's really nice to see. So automatically runs the fan after the vehicle is turned off to dry the inside of the air conditioner and prevent mold growth. Awesome feature. Every car should have that. Under lights, we can see we have ambient lighting, and we can change the color of the ambient lighting. There's a custom color here. You can see we can choose all these different settings. So we'll put that on, I don't know, purple for now. Vehicle connection is unstable. So it does use some of this stuff. It communicates with BlueLink so that your user profile will actually adjust all of that as well. Yeah, so it won't let me do it right now because there's no user profile set up and there's no BlueLink account set up. We can also change the one-touch turn signal to 5, 7, or 3 flashes. We have a welcome light here. Approach the vehicle with smart key. We'll turn on puddle light or door handle lights if equipped. This one does, of course, have door handle lights, not puddle lights. Headlight delay, high beam assist. So this will automatically enable and disable the high beams. Sorry about the screen constantly changing focus here, guys. My apologies. It's picking up my hand the whole time. And then we have interior lights illuminate. So it illuminates the interior buttons and switches at all times. So even if the car's headlights are not on, all of these lights will still be on. So that's kind of cool. Under door, we have automatic lock, automatic unlock, 2-press unlock, and remote window control. Disables the remote window control function. So essentially what that means is if you hold down the unlock button on your key fob, the windows will open. So we're going to go ahead and give that a shot now. I'm going to shut the car off. So now, hopefully the car doesn't realize that I'm still in it. I'm going to hold down the unlock button. There we go. So it opens the windows, but will it close the windows? Unfortunately, I don't think it will, but we'll try it. So the Ioniq 6 is the same way, Ioniq 5 as well, and several other Hyundais. Unfortunately, you can open the windows, you just can't close them again from the key fob. And that's a safety thing. I guess it's just making sure that if somebody's, you know, got their arm in the window or whatever, and you go to close it, it's not going to clamp down on their arm. Now, of course, these windows do have a safety feature where if they detect something, they stop and they open again. So, not sure why they omitted the option to close the windows again. But either way, let's go back into the settings. All right, below the door settings is the digital key settings. So here's where you can enable and disable smartphone key and NFC card key. And you have the digital key information number here as well, the serial number. And then under convenience, you see we have the rear occupant alert. So if any time the rear doors are open while the car is on, or after it's been unlocked rather, when you go to shut the car off, it'll remind you to check the rear seats. We'll also have a service interval, oil change reminder, and then down here you can see we have wireless charging system for mobile devices. That's the wireless charge that we saw earlier, and auto rear wiper. So when your headlight or when your front wipers are on, it'll turn the rear wiper on as well when you're in reverse. And again, you have the menu button down here. So if you need to, you can go to the online manual that'll take you directly to this page that talks about this stuff. So that's kind of cool. Now we have, well, we already looked at digital keys and we already looked at convenience. So that is everything in the vehicle settings. Under sound settings, I don't imagine much has changed. The layout's definitely changed, but we still have speed dependent volume control. We have a startup limit, which is good. We have our position, of course, our tone, bass, treble, mid-range. We can change the guidance volumes, and we can enable the welcome sound, which we will do. Radio noise reduction, that sort of thing. So nothing's really changed in there. That's all the same. Device connections, where you would actually connect up a phone, your user profile settings, your screen layout settings. So let's go into there. So we can link the cluster to the drive mode, which it is, or we can change the appearance of the gauges to, there we go, our classic analog speedometer and tachometer. It really actually looks nice, doesn't it? But we'll leave it on that for now, and then somebody else could change that if they want. But I'm going to actually unlink to the drive mode here because there is different styles. So we have style A, style B, style C, and then if I go into simplified, style C, B, A. Okay, well, doesn't really change a whole lot, does it? We have our screensaver, so we can enable the clock, and then we have quick access to change what the clock looks like. So what that is, guys, if I put it on this one, for instance, and then I press and hold the volume button, it comes up with a clock. So that's what that is. And then our split screen settings, which will give us our compass and our clock, which we saw earlier. All right, and then we have display, so we can change the brightness of the display. We can change the camera settings, our blue light filter, sorry. There's so many things with blue light, blue link, Bluetooth. It's hard to keep them straight when you're talking fast. We have automatically adjust the blue light in the screen to reduce eye strain, so that's cool. We have the quick access to change the custom buttons. So there's the button on the steering wheel, which we talked about earlier, and then there's this button right here, which I generally will link up to phone projection, so that when you press that, it takes you back into Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Okay, cluster settings, which we saw already. Blue link, we can't do right now. And then under general, you can see we have on or over-the-air updates once Blue Link is active and once they actually start doing over-the-air updates in Canada. So that's really nice. And then also in here, of course, you can change your date, time, language, keyboard units, media options, that sort of thing. All right, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So sorry, I'm cutting into the other video here, and the reason for that is because the client who owns this car is currently waiting for me. He's allowed me to do this, but he's sitting in our lounge waiting, so I don't want to take up too much of his time. And quite frankly, the screen has so much on it, well, as you just noticed, that last bit of video took a while. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you out, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any suggestions for future videos, or if you had any comments about this car. What do you think about this car? Do you like it? Do you like how it looks? I do. I think it's great. I think it's a big improvement over the previous model. But yeah, we're very excited to see other trim levels come in. So stay tuned for future videos that talk about lower trim levels. But yeah, so far right now, this is the highest trim. So again, thank you so much for watching. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a great day. Till next time, goodbye.